Hello Deep Value community, thank you for joining me. This is a video response to Sean Lee on which stocks I am short. If you have a question, please write it in the comments below and I'll be sure to address it. So here's my response. Why I do not short stocks. The reason not to short stocks is that the market is more often right than investors wish to believe. Better still, the stocks are mostly right most of the time. But the difference between being mostly right and being always right is the difference between night and day. That's a quote from Warren Buffett. Reasons not to short the stock. 3 reasons here. So you need to be right on the thesis. The market needs to recognize that you're right, because being right and taking a long time, not being right in a timely manner, is the same as being wrong. So something needs to happen for that stock to sell off. And that is a difficult timing issue because there are practical implications to this. When management gets up on Monday morning, get in a car, they are trying to make their company better. So that in and of itself is a difficult thesis to beat. So you're also fighting very often bullish shareholders that do not see things your way. So something concretely needs to happen and needs to happen in a timely manner. Is there a catalyst? That's a critical question. So if there's a catalyst on the horizon, they're going to go for a lawsuit or something similar, investors might be pricing in that already. So that's going to burn into your upside potential. Next, stocks do not go to zero very often. Okay, so you can look in hindsight at which stocks went to zero, like Enron, but even Enron I think got bought out in the end. But it takes a long time for the stock to sell off. So if we look at a recent example of a famous investment case that unraveled, Valiant, it takes a long time for, even if you go from right on the top all the way to the bottom, it takes a very long time to see that return. So that burns into your investment rate return. And we can price these in hindsight, but going forward, it is quite difficult to do. The main thing that I would say is that do not short a stock simply because it is overvalued. Just because something is expensive does not mean it cannot continue to be more expensive, or as David Einhorn said, twice as silly is just silly. So it's difficult to kind of build a thesis that just because XYZ stock is really, really expensive. Picking out stocks to short, you better picking off businesses that are facing permanent headwinds. So do not short great companies. So a bit of tongue-in-cheek, but Charlie Munger said about Tesla, I just know 2 things about Tesla. I won't buy it, I won't short it. So that was a bit of a joke, but you don't try. A lot of people try and kind of short Apple and say, I know the iPhones are not as good, or they're overpriced, and or that Facebook people are switching off their accounts. Like, don't try and kind of short a FANG. That's a really difficult game to do. Try and go for a business model that looks like it's facing permanent headwinds. I don't have any positions in any of these companies mentioned, but for example, let's say I have no position there, but I can see a strong argument for shorting retail stocks. You see, specifically ones that have very thin margins, don't have a compelling reason to exist, and they make it difficult for their customer to buy from them. They have some debt, like that I can see that argument. But often these retailers already fallen down a lot, so you already burnt a lot of the upside. So I you have to be quite selective, and the upside that you're going to make in most of the cases is something like 60%. And if you make a 60% return over 2 years, it's okay, yes, but the likelihood of that happening is quite small. It's a very difficult game to play. And then you're also fighting the just so much liquidity in the market at the moment at present. There's so much optimism. So it's a very difficult game to play. Um, so I hope that answers your question. And as always, please subscribe so that you can get my next video installment and we can grow our value investing community. Thank you for watching. See you next time.